Hey there and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit chill and a little bit relaxed, and I kind of wanted to talk about the subject of what class do I actually really like playing with in my groups. Just say I'm doing like 10 normal or just like a normal roulette or something. Which class do I really like? And so this one I actually thought for a bit. It's just like out of all the tanks, all the DPS, and all the healers, if I had to choose only one, what would it be? And you know what? I have to say very honestly that I'm gonna choose the Red Mage, hands down. And a lot of people are gonna be like, okay, well, you haven't even covered the Red Mage video or anything, but the Red Mage has been a class, one of the first ones that I actually got to 80 when the expansion hit. And I have to say that I definitely felt that I was bringing a lot to all of my groups. How to say it? It was not necessarily like pure damage, because if you look at FF logs you can see very clearly that like the damage is a little bit lower than the other ones, but not so much so that you're actually that much of a hindrance. But what I brought was a lot of backup healing, a lot of backup revives, and a lot of utility that way. And I can tell you for a fact that whether I'm on a dance or whether I'm on a scholar or whether I'm on a tank, like I really do like having Red Mage. I do think that honestly that bar none, that they're the class that I like the most, even more than like Astrologian buffing me, even if they're like my personal buff bot, even if I have a Dragoon who's like using their tether on me and everything, they're gonna be my favorite. And kind of to like highlight why I think that is, it's like you need to look at the content. Say I'm doing 10 normal and then both healers wipe, and we don't have anyone with a revive, but we do have a Red Mage. That Red Mage can single-handedly save that run, and by say just reviving one healer or both, which is something that the Red Mage can do extremely fast, is can recover a team very quickly. And this is actually one of the reasons why the Red Mage was definitely a favorite in Eureka content, is because and the meme was very often that they were like a res mage. It was just like they could just spam the revive over and over and over and over again, and even if you had like a smaller team in Eureka content, you were going after like a final boss such as like Penestelia or something like that. I forget the name, but like lots of AoEs, lots of death around, but you have the res mage there and they're going to recover your entire team. And so I really have to say that bar none, they're my favorite. And say I'm on Scholar and say I am like completely brain dead that night and just like, I am so tired tonight, I don't want to think, I'm just trying to crank through this expert dungeon as quickly as I can. If they like revive me, or like the tank's getting a little low and they add a cure, you know what, I think that's fantastic. And I can say when leveling, and no, this isn't like a flex or anything, but it's just like I noticed that like leveling dungeons went a lot smoother when I was leveling my Red Mage compared to when I was leveling other DPS, because oftentimes you have healers that aren't really comfortable, which is not to say that it's their fault. I mean, it's definitely a huge steep learning curve learning to heal, but I could also manage the HP bars of the tanks, just being like, oh crap, this tank said like 10% HP and I'm getting a little uncomfortable here, and so just pop a cure, or a ver cure, because everything has to have ver in front of it, right? And basically we could just keep going. As well as the fact that I find that their damage is actually pretty it's not the best damage, I'm not gonna lie to you, they're not a black mage, but you know what, it is really not that bad. And that's actually something that I do want to bring up. Like, the Red Mage does get a ton of flack for being lower on the damage scale. I mean, I'll pull up FF logs here right now, but I mean, looking at the numbers right now, does it actually really look that bad? No, it doesn't. I mean, you can be like, oh, well, it's technically this much, and so it's like a super huge loss, but if you're really comparing them like side by side, is it really that much of a loss? No. And not that I'm saying it insultingly, but I do have to say that the Red Mage is one of the easier DPS for me to pilot, and it's actually, in fact, what would I say? I'd say that it is actually the class that I'd recommend most new players actually try, because I think that the rotation with them is very clear. It has no internal loops or internal rotations or like crazy buff management. I mean, yeah, you have some, but overall it's a very clear rotation. You know what, from point A to point B, what you're going to be doing. And so they're very easy to get to the optimal rotation, optimal DPS. It's very easy to be weaving in abilities and going and making sure that you're always doing something at every time. Whereas if you have a black mage, they might be really struggling to get out of puddles and pools, which rightfully so. They're casting and there's a lot of mechanics going on. And yeah, I have to say ultimately that I have definitely in, I don't want to say a massive preponderance of my groups, but a huge portion of my groups definitely had red mages out damaging literally everyone else by a significant margin, just because it is very clear to pilot, very smooth to pilot. You are very rarely in a situation where you're not able to cast because you're just so fast and you're able to like move while doing your instant cast. And so I really cannot say that I've really had an issue in content with a red mage. And I mean, even if we look back to the last ultimate raid, which for the record, if you aren't really familiar with what an ultimate raid is, we have like normal content, which would be like expert roulettes, leveling dungeons and that, and like normal primals, normal extreme trials, or well, that's the same thing, sorry. And then we have like extreme trials is a significant bump above that. Then we have savage raiding, that's a significant bump above that, and then like our highest aspirational content is these ultimate raids, and we're actually getting a new one in 5.1. But my point is that we have seen red mages clear these ultimate raids, and in terms of content, they are literally like the hardest DPS checks, the hardest mechanic checks, and we have seen red mages clear them. And so kind of like pulling it up all back together in kind of like a capstone, I have to say that like the ability for a red mage to revive, like if I make a mistake and I die on like one of those normal primals or something, having a red mage being able to back up me and be like, hey, I'm gonna revive you if you die, that's a huge boost. Or say I'm like playing like a dancer or a machinist or something like that, and like both of the healers wipe, I'm sitting there being like, oh my god, I wish we had a red mage. I mean, yeah, you can also have summoner that can revive too, but a red mage is they're able to definitely cast off tons of revives very, very quick, and I really love that aspect of them, as well as like their ability to like Vercure the tank multiple times for, what is it, it's like 600 potency, spamming both, I believe, off the top of my head. I haven't checked, so sorry if I got that wrong, but it makes a huge difference. And I really do have to say that bar none, if you play a red mage and you're on my team, I am actually so glad you're there. I am not even joking, I am really glad for that. And yeah, so I love my red mage friends, I love my red mage teammates. You make me very happy. You make me ver happy. Anyhow, I kind of just want to keep it as a little bit of a light video today, as I'm kind of buried under a lot of editing. I'm trying to get out another one of those ultimate guide videos, and whew, it does take a bit of work. So thank you for being patient with me, and yeah, if you've ever wondered what my favorite personal class is, now you know. Anyhow, that is all for today's video, and thank you so much for tuning in and paying attention to me. I greatly appreciate your viewership, and yeah, I hope that you'll tune in next time. Oh yeah, and if you'd leave a like or comment or subscribe, that would be amazing. Actually, I'm really curious, like, what are your personal classes that you like seeing the most? Is it like having an astrologian that's like just feeding you the cards, or is it like having a dragoon that's tethering you, or alternatively a dancer that's made you the dance partner, so you're getting some huge buffs through that? Like, let me know in the comments below. Really curious. Anyhow, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much.